Quoth the Raven! Hello, students! I am wearing my raven mask, or crow mask, because we're going to be talking about foreshadowing. Remember foreshadowing, aka something bad is about to happen. Or just something that's about to happen in general. Foreshadowing is when an author puts in details into the story that suggests that something weird is going to start going on soon. Or at least something in general is about to happen. I mean, we see this in real life, don't we? In fact, here's a clip of me seeing it outside of my apartment right now. Seriously, based on what you see outside of my apartment, what's gonna happen? No, I'm asking because I'm really scared right now. So let's get into the 3 different subsets of foreshadowing so you can be more prepared to recognize foreshadowing when we read this next chapter because, this chapter sure gets spooky. So, foreshadowing, foreshadowing, foreshadowing. We learned this many, many months ago, but let's go back through it really quickly one more time. Foreshadowing is when an author includes hints or clues about future events in the story. We have 3 main types. The first type is a premonition, which is a vision or dream a character has foretelling a future event. The next one is an omen, a sign of future events to come, such as a raven, perhaps portending death or mystery, a shooting star, dark clouds, or maybe a rainbow, portending good luck or something like that. And then we have apprehension, a general feeling of anxiety and fear characters have about the future. So when you are trying to recognize if there is foreshadowing in a certain chapter, you kind of go through a 5-step process, okay? The first one is testing to see if you're dealing with apprehension. Do any of the characters feel anxiety? What's the source of their anxiety? The second one is if you're dealing with some sort of omen. Are there any unusual details in the passage that keep reappearing or have emotional significance? The third one tests to see if you're dealing with a premonition. Did a character have a dream or a vision? Simple enough, right? Once you've identified what kind of foreshadowing you're dealing with, you need to make a prediction because the author wants you to make a prediction or to guess that something is coming when they put in foreshadowing like that. What do you think is going to happen? Did it end up coming true in your reading? And the last and final one is, why is the author showing you this hint of the future, this foreshadowing? What emotional impact does this add to the story? Some of these questions you're not going to be able to answer until maybe a little bit later on once you see if the foreshadowing comes true, which is why foreshadowing is the kind of concept that you address when you see it and then return or come back to it in the future. Now, to practice identifying foreshadowing, I'm going to take a look at the last chapter. It's on 64. Roger and Maurice came out of the forest. They were relieved from duty at the fire and had come down for a swim. Roger led the way straight through the castles, kicking them over, burying the flowers, scattering the chosen stones. Maurice followed, laughing, and added to the destruction. The 3 little ones paused in their game and looked up. As it happened, the particular marks in which they were interested had not been touched, so they made no protest. Only Percival began to whimper with an eye full of sand, and Maurice hurried away. In his other life, Maurice had received chastisement for filling a younger eye with sand. Now, though, there was no parent to let fall a heavy hand. Maurice still felt the unease of his wrongdoing. At the back of his mind formed the uncertain outlines of an excuse. He muttered something about a swim and broke into a trot. So, in this case, Maurice came by and totally wrecked a bunch of little kids' sandcastles on the beach, which was totally jerk move, by the way. But the foreshadowing we're dealing with here is apprehension. Want to know why? Because of this line, Maurice still felt the unease of wrongdoing. At the back of his mind formed the uncertain outlines of an excuse. Maurice feels a little bit of anxiety and uncertainty about what it is that he's doing. He feels as though maybe what he's doing is wrong, but he's like, well, hey, There are no parents here to tell me otherwise, which is why this is foreshadowing. Maybe, based on this detail, a prediction I might make is, in the future, we're going to see a lot more instances of that, where people kind of maybe know what they're doing is wrong, but they're still going to do it anyway because there are no adults on the island. Maybe that's a hint for things to come. As a way of why the author is showing us this, it's probably to, I don't know, express the fact that when kids don't have adult supervision, they start doing some pretty jerkish things. So in this chapter, we're going to be specifically looking at a meeting where Ralph, Jack, and Piggy try and address rumors of a beast that perhaps lives in the sea or on the island. So I want you to see if you can identify any foreshadowing going on during that meeting as well, similar to what I did, using this 5-step process here. As always, quote the Raven.